Alright, let's dive in. We're talking React today, and specifically how we can make a piece of code feel, well, alive. We're going to peel back the curtain and see how just a few key ideas can really breathe life into what we build. You've seen this a million times, right? You click a button and boom, the whole web page just transforms. It feels like magic, but it's not. It's actually all about giving our code a set of instructions, teaching it how to behave, how to remember things, how to really live on the screen. Okay, so to really get this, we're going to use a metaphor for this whole explainer. Let's think of a React component as a living component. I mean, just like any living thing, it needs some initial instructions right from the get-go. It needs to know what it is, what it's supposed to be doing. You can think of it like it's genetic code, it's DNA. And in the world of React, that DNA has a name, props. It's pretty simple really. Props are just chunks of data that a parent component hands down to its child. Now here's the key part. Just like inherited traits like your eye color, they're read-only. The child component can see them, it can use them, but it has absolutely no power to change them on its own. This leads us to what is basically the golden rule of React. Data flows in one direction and one direction only, down from the parent to the child. That's it. It's like a one-way street for information. And honestly, this predictability is a huge reason why React apps are so stable, and thank goodness easier to debug. Let's see what this actually looks like in code. On the left, you've got the parent component. See how it's passing down a name, Aisha, and an age of 20. It's just handing them off to the child. And then over on the right, the child component is there to catch them. It receives name and age, and now we can use them to display that data. It's super simple, really elegant, and incredibly powerful. Okay, wait a second. If data only flows down, that brings up a pretty big question, right? How in the world does a child component ever talk back to its parent? I mean, how can a button click way down here in the child ever let the parent know that something important just happened? Well, the answer is we give our component a voice. The way we do that is actually pretty clever. We pass a function or a method down to the child as just another prop. Now the child has no idea what this function actually does. It just knows it has this thing and it can call it. It's kind of like giving your kid a special phone that only has one number pre-programmed in it. Home. Okay, look at this. The parent on the left creates this function show message, right? Then it bundles it up and passes it down as a prop called handle click. The child component grabs that handle click prop and just hooks it up to its buttons on click event. So what happens now when you click that button in the child? You're actually running the show message function that leaves all the way back up in the parent. The child now has a voice, it can talk back. Alright, so let's recap. Our little component has its DNA from props, it's got a voice to talk back to its parent. That's pretty good. But for it to be truly dynamic, it's missing one crucial piece. It needs a memory. It needs the power to remember things on its own and change based on its own experiences. And this is where state enters the picture. State is exactly what it sounds like, the component's own private internal memory. Now remember how props come from the outside and from the parent. State is the total opposite. It's managed completely inside the component. And here's the magic: whenever that internal memory, that state, changes, React just automatically re-renders the component to show the update. That right there is the secret sauce to all interactivity. Let's put these two side by side because this is where a lot of people get tripped up. Props are inherited. They come from a parent and are read only. State is remembered. It's internal to the component and can totally change. The analogy I love is this: your eye color is a prop. You got it from your parents and can change it. But what you're thinking about right this second, that's your state. It's all yours, it's internal, and it's probably changing all the time. Okay, so how do we actually give a component this memory? React provides us with a special tool for this exact job. It's called a hook, and this one is named useState. This is literally our key to creating and managing all of that internal memory. Let's zoom in on this one line of code because it's so important. First, we call useState. That does two things. It creates a new piece of memory and sets its starting value to 0. Then it gives us back two things in that array. The first thing, count, is just a variable. That's how we read the current value. The second thing, setCount, is a special function, and this is critical. It is the only way you are ever supposed to update that memory. Okay? This is getting good. Our component has its DNA, it has a voice, and now it has a memory. It's really starting to feel alive, isn't it? So it only makes sense that we should talk about its life story, because every single component you see on a screen goes through a whole life cycle, from the second it's born to the moment it disappears. You can basically break it down into three main parts: birth, mounting, when it first appears on the screen; life updating, when it's living and rendering whenever its props or state change; exit, unmounting, when it gets removed from the screen for good. Now, what if you want to do something at one of these specific moments, like say fetch some data from a server the instant a component is born? For that, React gives us another hook called useEffect. This is our tool for performing what are called side effects, basically letting our component interact with the world outside of React. The syntax is clever for targeting these lifecycle moments. See that example with the empty square brackets at the end? That's our signal to React. Hey, run this code exactly once right after the component is born. And for the exit, if you return a function from inside your useEffect, React is smart enough to hold on to it and run that function as a cleanup task right when the component is about to be removed. Okay, let's bring it all home. Let's recap the whole thing. Props are the inherited DNA and they always flow down. Methods as props give our component a voice to communicate back up. State is its own private internal memory, its brain. useEffect is how we tap into its life story and manage things over time. When you think about it this way, it's pretty wild, isn't it? If our components can have instructions, a voice, a memory, and a whole life cycle, what really separates them from being truly alive? By understanding these building blocks, we're not just writing code anymore. We're creating these dynamic little entities that breathe life into our apps. The only question left is, what are you going to create